Hello, everybody. This is Sean Sewell with the Engearment Podcast. Back for round two is my good friend, Ryan Humphries of Axistence Athletics. Good morning to you, Ryan. How are you?
Good morning, Sean.
Oh, man. It's good to see your face, man, especially in these times.
Yeah.
These times, so a little background for listeners if you're not in this area. What is this, day 3 of gyms being closed here in Colorado, or at least in Denver?
Official day 3. Yes.
Yeah. It is surreal, right? I mean, we're going to talk about this quite more detail, but like before the recording was happening, we're like, Ryan, what are you and Dan doing for your clients and students? And, our gyms are closed now too. So I was talking to Matthew Flaherty last night and, what he's doing and online coaching for nutrition and stuff like that. It's for fitness professionals right now. It's a very unique time. And you're one of the most educated and innovative people I know. So I'd like to pick your brain and see what you're doing to adapt in this unique time.
Well, coming from you, sir, that means a lot. And thank you. And I mean, the fitness industry, it has typically been a one-on-one, right? Or a group class, in person. Online training is nothing new necessarily. I mean, some people have been doing this for, 10 years since the internet came out, since they figured out how to do online coaching. I've done a little bit of remote training here and there over the last decade, but what we're about to see happen at Axistence and, gyms worldwide, I think is going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm on, several groups online of just thousands of gym owners, whether it's CrossFit gyms, different boutique style fitness gyms, and people are like, what's going on? Are you closed? Did you force yourself to close, or were you forced to close, or did you close your doors yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is day 3. So officially for the listeners, if they're not in Colorado, all gyms in Colorado have been shut down for a minimum of 30 days. I believe, I don't want to get it wrong, but I believe all restaurants, bars, breweries are shut down for 8 weeks.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting times we live in.
Very much so. Oh,
Very
my goodness.
times.
On the topic of gyms closing down, so I train in 2 different gyms. One is a gym inside a law firm, and they made the decision on Sunday night to do that, and I respect that. And the other gym I train in is a small boutique. It's a physical therapy clinic first with some training, and so it's a very gray area because it's a clinical setting.
Right.
And just this morning, maybe half an hour before this chat, found out that we are proactively closing the doors, like you mentioned, just for everybody's benefit. We don't want to risk it. Even though this weekend we hired a professional cleaning crew, like full on, masks and everything, fumigate the whole place and deep cleaned. And we have every measure in place, but still want to play it safe. So it's very unique right now, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So last week looked very different than this week, right?
Yes.
2 weeks ago looked very different than it does now. And I mean, we went out, I went to Costco. I got all the Clorox wipes. We've got, hand sanitizer, buckets, Purell. We're having people, previous to gyms closing down, it was like, okay, wash your hands when you come into the training center.
Yep.
Before you, pick up anything, wipe it down. Once you're done with something, wipe it down. Stay 6 feet from each other. We're trying to implement all those things. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm still like, should we be here?
Right.
And I don't.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like, even
so like that's, I don't know if anybody knows. I'm not.
I saw the glitch for 1 second there, but you're absolutely right. Like, I was filling up my water bottle, and I was like, what if we don't clean this water bottle, tap thing every time? I'm like, and then you get your mind about that. Like, there's other opportunities too here, And so I think it's wise, especially because you and I, everybody we hang out with and associate with and look up to, got into this for health and fitness, right? Not just for aesthetics and training. So I think it's the right call to stay healthy.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. I've been talking to people all around the country, and I feel like in Denver, I think we have 100 cases or so here. And there's still a lot of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a media guy, and I'm not a physician. I'm not an infectious disease specialist. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting to me is, kind of what they what they say. I've talked to so many people that haven't necessarily heard the full story. So, or the full story in terms of like why people are socially isolating.
Yeah.
You know, even I talked to some friends in Missouri, and they know that like things are going on. And I think that the biggest thing, the biggest reason why, you know, people are staying inside is to try to minimize the strain on the healthcare system, right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be like, that's the number one goal. It's not about you getting sick. It's not about me getting sick. You know, we're like, younger people will be fine. All the tens of thousands of spring breakers right now that are down in Florida. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't Google spring breakers in Florida if you don't want to be freaked out.
No, I'm into that.
But it's, you know, it's very interesting times. And I highly doubt that, you know, anybody that's out there right now that is not taking this seriously, they probably don't know the full extent of it. And I'm not saying I know the full extent of it. I think I would just personally rather be cautious and feel a little silly later, you know, rather than just go out, you know, potentially get something, spread that on to somebody who's immunocompromised and, you know, deal with that.
Yeah, no, it's very responsible of you. You know, and I was thinking about this, you know, the last few years I've been taking care of my folks, and they're older and they're in assisted living. And you know, it's kind of a morbid thought, but I'll say anyways, but I'm kind of grateful that they've passed, because I'm not going to be endangering them, because I was their caretaker too. I had to see them, except for the medications and care. But if I was around somebody and I didn't know it, carried it in there, and then if it just, you know, it spreads quickly in confined areas, especially elder populations. So
yeah,
I guess that's a blessing right there. But, you know, I'm sure you talked or seen the stuff from like Pat Rigsby and Pat Flynn and all the other online fitness professionals. And it's been really encouraging and awesome to see how many of those fitness professionals are offering services for discounted or free, you know, like, I don't know about you, but I enrolled in Pat Rigsby's online coaching certification, start that up later today, and then reach out to Pat Flynn and Alex Solkin and all the other great minds that you and I know.
Yeah.
What they're doing to help empower people in this time. And it's kind of funny, you know, I like to shoot videos in the gym that you saw in my room, their bedroom. So I was shooting a bunch of videos for the law firm gym we're going to pump out today, and just trying to find ways to help people get motivated, and like you, using, you know, charisma and jokes and lightheartedness to keep them upbeat and just, you know, put a smile on their face and make them break a sweat and just take care of themselves.
Yeah. I feel like if you're not laughing right now, like you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
If you're not
the best medicine.
If you're not dancing around every now and then laughing, like, you're not going to make it through, folks.
Exactly. I really enjoy seeing your The Greatest Show with using a mace instead of a cane. It's very entertaining. I'll have to put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah. So something interesting on, you know, just, I mean, like in Colorado, nursing homes are closed down.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I imagine that if you're a caregiver, you know, or something like that, maybe there's testing procedures, but you know, if someone is in an assisted living facility, I think, especially nursing homes, like, it's shut down right now. And that's the potential, you know. I mean, someone sent me a message today, and this is, I don't know exactly where this came from. There's a gym in Colorado that's putting out to their members that this is fake news, and they're trying to get their members to come and train. And I'm like,
that is messed up. That's
a thing that's happening right now. And I don't, again, I'm not an infectious disease specialist, but like, I read some of the things online, and they were like, look, we're not in danger. Nobody's in danger. I'm like, yeah, man, it's not about the 25-year-old, 35, even 45-year-old individual, even though those people are, you know, also getting sick. But it's interesting to me that a bunch of very fit young people don't care about it. It's the same idea. So we don't let people take their shirts off at the gym, right? But it's always typically the guy with the 8-pack that's like, come on, bro, I can't take my shirt off. And it's like, it's not about you, man.
Yeah. It's for the greater good.
It's not about you. It's about like, okay, well, as humanity, let's take a minute, you know, sorry, getting on my soapbox there for a minute. But,
hey, we like to ride soapboxes. They're good. Yeah, you do. I support them. No, you're right, though. I wasn't aware that there's a gym with people that ignorant running it. That's very sad.
Yeah, it is. And again, it's one of those, like, I'm trying to come from a place of love, you know, and understanding. And maybe it is that like, maybe they just haven't fully watched the news. I talk to my family in Missouri, and they don't watch the news very much. Shout out if they're listening.
Hey, Missouri folk.
But they hadn't really been paying attention too much to like what was going on in Italy, what was going on in the news, and I was just like, my mom, she loves having yard sales, she's throwing yard sales every weekend. I was like, maybe dial that back for a month,
Yeah.
Just, maybe don't get a whole bunch of people together that are often older, maybe just hang out and watch some Netflix,
Yeah. Something really funny popped up Monday evening this week with people our age. My sister-in-law, very intelligent. She's got 4 daughters. She's educated. She's like, hey, to my wife, why don't you come up and go bowling with us? And I was like, bowling? Like random hands in balls that aren't clean? No. And I had to like this. I had to laugh, Mike. You're kidding, right? And they didn't look. We'll go to the zoo. I'm like, no. And then they call the zoo's closed. Bowling, no go. So last night for St. Patrick's Day, my wife went up and made pancakes and hung out with them and did silly mustaches. And, it's funny because their family is already 6 people. So I was like, it got to 10. I'm like, oh, I got out of this family thing and I got to do a podcast with our friend Matthew Flaherty. And so I'm kind of enjoying this 10-person cap too. And the social distancing. I'm introverted, so I appreciate it. And so I got that going for me. And also Governor Polis, I'm really impressed with him. He's the governor of our state of Colorado. He recommends getting outside. And you and I, we love outside, right? So, now I can't be in front of people. I can still go to the mountains. You can still go to the mountains. You can go outside to walk dogs. You can meet. You can, a set of skis apart, 6 feet apart, and, get some fresh air. So I'm looking forward to that part.
Same here, man. And that's something I've been struggling with a little bit. Axistence, we're founded on adventure community education.
Yeah. And
right now we're in probably the biggest adventure that most of us have seen ever.
That's true.
But letting people know, whether it's the community piece is a challenge. It's like, how do people get together with and feel a part of something without actually getting together,
Yes.
And I would love to take, the whole training center, all the members be like, hey, let's go for a big hike. But like, now I've got 50 people in a group. And then I'm like, am I part of the problem? Well, what if we all go to Red Rocks? And I'm like, well, now I'm putting 20 cars on the road because nobody's carpooling.
Yep.
And it's kind of one of those, like, I'm not sure what to do. I mean, in your training, everything that you've done, and I know you've trained out of, specific offices before. And for most people, we know that people are going to train close to where they work or close to where they live. Like that's where they're going to train. They're not going to drive, hours away, to do a workout or a training session for the most part.
Sure.
And what I've kind of tossed out to our members as well is that, like, and I think for you guys, so initially, when you sat down with all of your personal training clients, when everybody that you work with, and you guys talked about going from like, what are your goals now to where do you want to go? None of that necessarily involved a location, right? It didn't involve, for us, 1950 South Quebec Street, it didn't actually involve, them getting from, if I want to hike my Force 14er, that doesn't have to be done within the walls of, well, actually hiking can't be done within the walls, right? But like training for that.
Yeah.
And so what we've tried to do is figure out, well, how can we make sure that all of those goals that those people had, that they're still on track with that, and so we've been going virtual for us. We've done 2 live workouts. We're going to stream. We have a members group. So we have a Facebook members group for the Axistence members.
Smart.
And so we did a live stream last night at 5 p.m. this morning. Was that a cough, Sean?
No, that was a burp. I have a bubble of water in my throat.
We're safe.
Yeah, we're good.
But yeah, we decided to live stream. It's something we've never done before. So 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. we're going to live stream within the members group. And it seems a little silly. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who's online watching it. But we're going to try that for this week, see if people like it. We're going to be doing Q&As, open Q&As. We're also going to be doing just check-ins, accountability, man. I was thinking about, what we're doing here, I think would be awesome if everybody just decided to, like, hey, I'm going to virtually call my aunt, I'm gonna,
Yes.
FaceTime my brother-in-law. And then, well, what else? Well, let's get on a FaceTime with multiple people. Maybe I'll send a postcard.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's a very good point. You know what? I learned something yesterday, and hopefully you probably already know this. You can multiple person FaceTime. You can create a text message with 2 or 3 or whatever people in it, and then there's an option in the middle, FaceTime, and it'll connect them all.
I've
Blew
not
my
done
mind.
that.
Yeah, my wife was working from home and she works in HR, and so she had 2 of our other colleagues for a meeting. She did that, and it looked great. It looked even better than what we see right now. And
Nice.
so that might be a nice option for like one-on-one or one-on-two, semi-private.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. That's perfect. Doing are you doing, so I mean, you are set up pretty well, I think, for this in terms of, you have the online mountain fitness school.
Yeah.
You've got programming.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. I do appreciate that. The Mountain Fitness School, it's about 2 years old now, and you're in it, and so is Garrett, and we filmed part of it at your gym. And thank you for letting us do that. And it's great because that tool, and I feel kind of bad because I built this fitness center inside a law firm 8 years ago or so, and we brought in 2 yoga professionals, and they're fantastic. And of course, now they don't have online teaching ability yet. So I reached out to them this weekend and said, hey, I know this is going to be kind of a challenge, but I'm happy to show you how to create an online course through my program, Teachable, which is like other online course platforms, but it's, in my opinion, probably the best one because you get to keep all the email lists of the people so you can directly contact them. I made it. If I can make it, you can make it, and anybody can make it, right? So my goal this week is to create some more content like that that's at home. What do you have at home? Hopefully you have a backpack or a duffel bag or a kettlebell or something, anything, right? And body weight. You and I are really good at body weight, right? So there's an infinite amount of stuff we can do to help people. And to your point too, I was at the gym, I guess again for the last time last night. I was watching a fellow trainer who's very good at online training. She had a laptop there and she's coaching a person in their home. And it was beautiful to see the adaptation, and working together. And it was great. And, I think, by you doing this and by hopefully what I can create for other people too, we can keep people motivated using technology, which wasn't really an option for a lot of people 10 years ago. We have in our pocket the technology to do this. And I have over an abundance of technology at my disposal. I'm happy to share with anybody. And it's just fun, it's creative.
It is. It's necessity, mother of all inventions. Like,
right.
What better time than a pandemic to work on some programming?
Exactly. And speaking of learning and stuff, are you taking any courses yourself, or can you use this time to do some reading or catch up on shows or anything?
So actually there's a group that I actually have. It's the Active Life Professional. ActiveLifeProfessional.com. They threw out an online course. I saw it the day before. I saw Pat Rigsby had thrown out his how to do online coaching. So I was like, well, I might just take both those. I mean, it's really cool. A lot of people in the fitness industry are stepping up and saying, hey, coaches, there's a lot of coaches out there. I mean, the number of personal trainers has only been going up and up and up over the last decade, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know specific numbers. I'm sure it's a quick Google. But the amount of personal trainers, coaches that are struggling right now, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if I was a trainer, let's say at a 24-hour fitness, and so 24-hour fitness as far when I was there, maybe I shouldn't use that name. Let's say one of those big box gyms.
The gyms are open for most of the days, most of the hours.
Yeah. But Lifetime Fitness, your larger gyms like that, those trainers are probably going to be more challenged than anybody else because that's all done through the system. Mm-hmm. And so this might give them a good time. This might be a great time for them to really hone in on their programming mm-hmm. and create something online for their clients. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a challenge. I don't know. I still have a lot of friends in the industry that work for some of those big box gyms. And unless they, go against corporate policy, because technically you're not supposed to train somebody, outside of those hours. So I don't know how that's going to work. But it gives them an incentive to figure out, okay, if I'm going to be an online coach, I mean, online coaching it's a thing, right? Garrett, runs a very high level online coaching program that he's been doing for a while.
Yeah.
It's 100% online. So
wow,
he's good. Some of his folks he's never met, in person. It's accountability check-ins, it's coaching, and it's one of those, like, it's really letting us know how many people can actually work from home.
it's impressive, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, thank goodness for technology again. That's a good point. God, I had a really interesting question I was going to ask you. Oh, what led to the Turkish get-up with tequila last night?
Oh, so Dan did the tequila.
Oh, okay.
So before I left the training center, I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw out a challenge. So what I'd like to do during especially for the next 30 days, right? The training center shut down. So we're going to be challenging people. We're going to be checking in, like, all the accountability that people need, the reason that they're, part of the community. We just want to let them know, like, we are here for that. Although we can't, like, all fist bump together, we can get on live videos. We can make sure that you're eating well, sleeping well, like everything that, they're paying for in a membership, doesn't necessarily have to be done right now physically. So last night before I left, I was like, I'm going to throw out a challenge. And the first challenge was yesterday. So I took a mason jar and I filled it up with 300 milliliters of water. And it was a smaller mason jar, so it was almost full. And then I was like, one of two things is going to happen, right? I'm going to have kind of a cool video of, like, me doing a get up, and feel good about doing a get up with a glass of water, or I'm going to spill this shit and I'm going to have a pretty funny video.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't bust my teeth open. So I was like, yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to challenge that, hashtag mason jar get up, I think, hashtag mason jar get up, mason jar TGU, something like that. If you go to my Instagram, you can find it. So Dan took the challenge last night. He had some tequila.
Yeah.
And so he was the first one. Then another of our gym members did it this morning with a cup of coffee. So,
wow. But
like,
equally
all right,
challenging, you got hot coffee and you got a nice tequila. You don't want to spill either one of those.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, though, if you're going to do the challenge, I want to see how much liquid is in that glass first.
So, got to show the cup. Got to
Show
wait.
the cup, right?
That's awesome.
I tried to do another one this morning. So I was trying to do toilet paper rolls. How many toilet paper rolls can I stack on top of my fist and do a get up? And I failed miserably. The videos will probably be funny, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm
looking forward to that. Well, speaking of toilet paper and the crazy shortage of it,
yeah.
I think you and I are in a pretty good position because I think you have a Tushy, don't you? Yeah.
We should get Tushy to sponsor this episode.
We should. Tushy. Keeping your rear clear.
Hello, Tushy. It's hellotushy.com, not tushy.com. That's something completely different.
Yeah, don't do that. It's not safe for work.
You're at home. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. It's your browser.
The bidet. Yeah, Sean, the bidet is a game changer.
Oh, it's the best. It is so good. I mean, all the guests that come over here and they use it for the first time, they're a little bit alarmed at first. It's kind of brisk and like, what's that? But it's a nice resource.
Yeah, clean as a whistle.
Clean as a whistle. And it's, conserving resources and, especially in this time of age, it's very important.
Yeah. There's the toilet paper makes me think, and it's a virus. It's an interesting thing, right? That's going on right now. So something I've been seeing recently, and if I'm not some guru, but every now and then I think I have a good idea, and maybe I'm full of shit, but one of them, the idea that keeps coming up to me, or the thing I keep pondering, is the word panic. Right? So, like, some people are preparing. I wrote a blog on it the other day, like, are you acting from a state of fear, or are you acting from a state of educated preparedness? And there's a guy I follow on Instagram. I love him. He's a former export special forces guy. And he takes a picture the other day at Costco. And I typically love everything this guy posts. And he takes a picture, and there's lines out the door, and he's like, look at all these people panicking. And it hit me the wrong way. So I'm like, what if every one of those people is just someone just like, because he was there. He obviously wasn't panicking, yet he was at Costco going to buy something because he knows that from a state of educated preparedness, there's things that he needs.
Yes.
Right. And it's likely that other people in that line were taking pictures. Maybe somebody took a picture of him and said, look at this line of cars, right?
Yeah.
Look at all these people panicking. Next thing you know, there's 20 posts about quote unquote people panicking. It's interesting. I mean, I've been to the stores. I haven't been to all of them, but what I've seen is a great showing of love. I've seen people smiling at each other.
Yes.
I know videos online of like somebody fighting for toilet paper, but that's not the norm.
It's not. And to the people outside of this metro area, that's very true. I'm glad that you recognize that too. I was out last week. My wife was kind of laughing at me because I've been reading reports of Italy and Korea and China. Tim Ferriss put up some good stuff a few weeks ago. It was very helpful. Yeah. And it got me thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm already, like you said, educatedly prepared. Get a lot of resources and solar and water purifiers, and because I test that kind of stuff too. So I have a lot of those resources, right? But I wanted to make sure we were a little more stocked up and just a few more things. And so I went around to the stores, and I had gotten done with my morning session, so I had a little bit of leeway time. And the line at King Soopers, it was like wrapped around the whole King Soopers, right? And everybody was as surprised as I was because it was like 6:30 in the morning. It's not like a busy time, and everybody's kind of like a heightened level of not want to say anxiety, but curiosity. And people are nice in conversing, And this poor lady behind me, she's like, "Oh my God, I have a work meeting in half an hour. I'm not going to make it, And so I was like, "Oh, please go ahead of me. I'm in not a rush, And she got a little teary eyed, and then we all check out. And then as I'm checking out, her mom, I guess, was in line like 25 people behind us, and she came over and she was tearful, and like we were, all choked up and just people being people. It was cool to see, and that hopefully still exists today. If you go to the store.
I think it does, and I'm typically, I don't know if you watch the news often.
I use readers for my news. I don't trust American news that much.
I also don't trust. Not to get political, but I feel that most news channels are very leaning one way or the other.
Yeah.
And often they don't seem to be reporting on the actual issues, just what they think of who did what right or wrong about the issues.
Yeah. A lot of finger pointing, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But so I was dog sitting over the weekend, and I turned the TV on. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch the news, and then I just got sucked in. Right, I'm flipping back and forth between more right-leaning news, more left-leaning news, and just kind of going back and forth. And both of them, they're just talking about panicking. Everybody's panicking, and I'm like, stop saying that word.
Right.
It's like that word. You ever read the book Influence?
Who is it by?
Great question.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like I've read a book, How to Influence and Win People or something like that. It's in my Audible queue.
It's not How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is just called Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Dr. Robert Cialdini. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but
I'll look into it. The last 3 books you recommended have been fantastic.
This one, so I'm listening to it right now online, and they just talked about a fascinating. So the whole book is it's the psychology of persuasion, right? Why do we buy something? Why do we panic, right? Why do we get scared, or why do we feel happy? Not in turn by our innately, but what creates those feelings in a situation. And the last, let me use my words here. So the last chapter that I was reading, there was this phenomenal study. Trying not to touch my face. I'm fine. I'm in my house. It's my face. It's fine. So they take a large group of people and they put them into a room one at a time. And well, technically they're in the room 2 at a time. So let's say you and I go into a room and they shoot you up with a bunch of adrenaline. All right. And they quote unquote shoot me up with adrenaline too, but I'm actually part of the study. So what happens is, adrenaline raises arousal, right? And arousal can be fear. It can be sad. It can be many things, right? It doesn't have to be pumped up, get mad, get crazy. It could be get excited. And what they would do is they bring 2 people into a room. One of them was secretly working in the operation. The other one was loaded with a shot of adrenaline. And what they would have the other person who was actually working in the study, they would have them get emotional. And if they got mad, the person on adrenaline got real mad. And if they got happy and excited, the person who had the adrenaline shot up got real happy and excited. And it was like the number one thing that influenced these people was their social environment. It's the herd mentality. It's that thing. But if I'm at the store and everybody's just kind of smiling at each other, chances are I'm going to be smiling too. right? Even if I was panicked going in, if I walk in there now, if I walk in and I've just been listening to the news about people flipping out, especially very volatile news, I've been very cognizant about like what I'm listening to on the way to the store. You know,
that's
like,
smart.
I'm going to listen to like maybe some Credence, you know, maybe I love some death metal, right? I know you love death metal, but like,
I love death metal.
Maybe I'm not going to blast death metal on my way to like an area where people already have their tensions raised high.
That's wise.
Just thinking about like, how am I programming myself, you know, into these different situations? There's a time and a place, you know, play some Pantera while I'm swinging a kettlebell.
Yeah.
But maybe, you know,
that's good. That's very helpful, actually, Ryan, in a lot of levels. I mean, there's a book a long time ago about like water molecules changing based on energy from music, and it's really cool. But on that topic, yeah, if I'm going to go into a social situation or anywhere, I'm usually going to do like some Baroque or classical or a nice podcast, and like, all right, let's go into this, you know. But if I'm going to, like you said, swing a kettlebell, it might be some jungle or death metal, you know. The right place for that energy, the right time and situation.
Yeah, because it's a state change, right?
Yeah.
And if I've been watching, you know, any sort of news channel, I'm not going to name any news channels, but I've been watching an inflammatory news channel talking about people panicking, and then get my car, you know, and I add to the next level, you know, of listening to everything crazy, and maybe I'm stopping at the stoplight and I'm pulling out social media, and then I'm reading about everything panicking, like, I might not be in the best mindset when I go into that store.
Yes, yeah, good point.
I might not be the best human I could be. I might not be coming from a place of love.
Yeah. I'm fully on board with this. And not to keep talking about Tim Ferriss, but Tim Ferriss had a really great Buddhist monk, Jack Cornfield, I believe, on this week. And he's so calm, and he's funny, and he's articulate.
Yeah. I listened to half of that.
Oh, good.
You posted, I think, yeah.
Yeah, on Monday. It's he's a great orator, right? And he just puts you at ease, and he gives you great wisdom. And I like his take on, you know, planting good seeds, getting rid of the weeds, stuff like that. Like you're mentioning, and I think it's very important people understand that like they can change their environments, you know, and they can choose to see more light. I mean, of course, it is pretty challenging right now, but there's still a whole lot of great things happening, and. You know, and in that podcast, he kind of joked because he's got like a retreat for like, you know, expensive CEOs to go to. And he's like, these people pay me a lot of money to have this 2 or 3 or 4 week abstinence from other people and media. And so we get it for free. And so it's kind of funny.
we might get it for more than a few weeks.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Well, you know, I guess I'm looking forward to something. So, you know, I help run this big Facebook group. Since the last time I talked to you, it grew by like 2,000 people. It's insane. Wow. I imagine it's going to probably grow another 1,000 this week because all the ski resorts closed, which they should. And so a lot of people are probably going to start venturing into backcountry. And also, this is the prime time for backcountry skiing, starting right about now through late May, early June, depending on what you're doing. So it's funny. We in that group, there's like 7,000 people as of last night, probably 7,200 by the time we air this.
Yeah.
So you post a picture or I post a picture and people are like, oh, I want to go there with you. And I'm trying to cap it at, like you said, the 10 people. I'm like, all right, I can't tell you where I'm going, but if you see the truck or whatever, you can associate. But it'll be fun to see how we all navigate this and come together. But gosh, this is a fun conversation, man. We're covering a lot of territory. I think this will be really relevant for a lot of listeners as these things develop, especially outside this metro area, you know?
I hope so. You know, Dan and I joke around, like we talk a lot at work. And we're like, man, we should just press record every now and then. Sometimes it's just rambling, but every now and then there's some good nuggets in there.
There is. You know what? I always carry this little recorder with me. I always have at least one recorder on my person or one in my backpack. And yeah, you just push record, even if you're just jamming on a guitar or bongos or whatever, riffing with Dan on an idea.
Yeah.
It comes in handy.
Yeah, man.
Or your phone. You got a recorder on your phone. Just push record.
I do have a smartphone in my pocket.
A very smart phone. Smarter than both of us. Put it to work.
The smartphone, man. So the question I have a lot of questions that need answers, Shaw.
Let's do it. Let's get answers.
So right now, I've caught myself more on social media than I have in the past. I mean, I think it's natural, right? Like this is something that nobody's ever seen before.
Right.
And now we have access to information at the minute, right? Like even you could say, yes, measles, smallpox, but like nobody was on Facebook sharing pictures of how they were quarantining themselves, right?
No.
You might get the newspaper and be like, oh, okay, I should stay in my house. That's
Right.
a thing, right? Listen to the radio. But right now, I wonder if people at some point, so right now it seems like everybody's on social media. I'll post something and immediately see a like or like, and I see somebody else posting something, I'm giving them a like or a love or a comment. And some of that is like, hey, we want to be connected. We want to feel like we are connected. And as, you know, I feel a month ago, if you were to ask people about social media, most of them would have been like, it's the devil, you know, and,
taking a break from it. Yeah.
Get rid of social media. I'm not on Facebook. We actually had a couple members get on Facebook. They're like, I got on Facebook just for you. I don't have any friends on there. I'm joining the group and we're on. I was like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sincerely. Cause usually if a new member joins, you know, we do have an online members group. So we say, are you on Facebook? And if they say no, we say, don't join just for us. Like, don't do it. Cause I think, you know, we're probably on social media too frequently, using it for evil instead of good.
Yeah.
But now, in this time, like people have been on it more, and I've been asking around. And everybody's like, "Yeah, I feel myself glued to it." Right? Are there any new updates? You know, check the Instagram, check the Facebook. Maybe I'm checking for coronavirus, and then I just need some comic relief, right? Can I look at something funny? In some of my videos, you know, I'm like, you know what? I try to keep a smile, as I know you do, and if I'm doing something funny or thinking of something, I'm just going to film it, put it out there. If it gets a laugh, if it brightens a day, then awesome.
Yeah. Success.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm wondering if, you know, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, if people are going to realize like, man, I've been on my phone, on my laptop, on my iPad for so long. And are we just going to like push them away? Is there going to be this kind of drop off?
I'm very curious, especially people with kids too, because the kids are going to be home for several weeks now, you know?
Right. People are talking about, you know, they know they're going to probably loosen up screen time regulations, you know, restrictions. A lot of parents have screen time restrictions on their kids. You know, you can only look at so much, but I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things. We're about to put out some creative things that people can do at home.
Yes.
You know, turning their house into an obstacle course.
I like that. You know, to that point, my sister-in-law, I mentioned earlier, doesn't allow the kids to use any kind of phones or, you know, tablets or anything like that, which is smart. She's also a teacher by trade. And I think that she's going to adapt that rule a little bit because, you know, like you and I like to shoot videos of stuff in the mountains or our dogs, especially, to share that with our nieces. And they love seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was camping a few weeks ago and there was those 2 foxes that came up, and that was just a unique situation. I've never seen that happen before. So I showed it to them and they just love it. So I think that, you know, some of those parents who have that more conservative screen time things might adapt, especially like things like Frozen 2 are now on Disney Plus, and we're going to get Disney Plus for them so they can watch some movies and stuff like that. And also, the weather's getting nicer. They have a backyard. You know, there's a lot to do. A lot they can't do, but there's a lot they can do.
Yeah. I've seen more people walking in the neighborhood than ever before. Walking their dogs, walking by themselves. Like, there's 2 ways that we could come out of this, right? You could come out of this fit as a mother.
Yeah.
You could come out of this thing shredded. You could use this as a time to say, all right, like I don't have to go to work, right? There's no traffic. The meeting didn't run late. Like all the excuses that, you know, none of our members use, but the things that come up in life, right? Just the, like, if I have a half an hour commute, you know, each way, or an hour commute or whatever that is, like, I don't have that right now. I could use that half an hour to do some burpees. I could use that half an hour to, you know, go shop online for a kettlebell, you know, or whatever it is, fashion something into, you know, find an online course. There's no shortage. If you type in, you know, hashtag at home workout right now, you could probably look from now until the day you die and not watch all the videos on Instagram and YouTube. Like everybody's putting stuff out there.
Oh, and I am too. It's so funny. I'm like, it's so true. It's kind of fun to see that.
It is. It's like, oh, and I think, you know, we're also, you know, we get in the bubble of like, because all the friends we probably follow, a lot of them are into fitness already. And it's like, oh man, everybody's doing this.
Nope.
But I imagine no matter who you are, what you're listening to, I imagine a lot of your listeners, you know, they're into a little bit of everything from fitness to adventure. all of it to, getting into the mountains, but they've probably seen at least one person, doing some sort of at-home workout,
Yep.
Some variation. Now there's another way this could go where it's like, well, you get bored, you overeat, you just get demotivated. You don't know what's going to happen. You come from that place of fear, from that place of panic, what's going to happen. And next thing you know, you've eaten all your COVID-19 rations.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see, did people gain weight? Did people lose weight? Are people stronger, or did they lose cardio? Like what happened? Right. I think we'll look back now, because we will get through this. We'll look back 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks from now and say, where am I? One of the challenges that I'm going to throw out today, if anybody's, I don't know when this is going to go out, but take a picture of yourself today, at the beginning of COVID-19, and just see are you going to look like Tom Hanks at Castaway? Not Tom Hanks right now with the COVID-19.
No.
But, is it going to be the big beard? Yeah. What day is this? Jumanji?
There is.
Williams? Or is it, this is an opportunity like, oh, I've never weighed my food before. Maybe I'll actually see, what this chicken breast weighs. What does that look like? Yeah. A lot of people are going to be cooking for the first time.
That's very true. Today was the very first day that I didn't, in over a decade, that I didn't have to get up at 4 a.m. to go train. I slept in, which is very weird for me, to 5, and I made pancakes. I've never made pancakes on a weekday. I'm a coffee, fasted. I go and work till noon kind of guy, all jacked up on caffeine, and then I eat my first meal around noon. And I was like, you know what? I have no rush to do anything but walk these dogs and make some whole wheat, buckwheat pancakes.
Yeah,
I made like 30 of them. Made the whole box. So might as well. The grill's hot. We got power. Let's do it.
Yeah,
but, right. It's kind of fun. Like, where are we going to invest our time in learning new things, cooking for ourselves, spending a little more time? My wife loves board games. I get bored of board games, no pun intended. But we got Rummy Cube, Mexican Train is a great dominoes game. There's a lot of fun things to do. A lot of great shows to watch, a lot to research and read. And I know you're probably gonna do a lot of writing. Looking forward to reading that.
I've been doing a lot of writing. There's Duolingo as well. Like there's no reason everybody shouldn't be bilingual in 8 weeks. I'm not saying you can learn a language in 8 weeks, but you should at least be able to have a couple conversations.
Sure. I think that's great.
Yeah. People don't know Duolingo is a free app where you can learn anything from Spanish to High Valerian.
High Valerian? What is that?
It's Game of Thrones shit.
Oh, I should know that. Damn it. I thought this was Esperanto or something like Incubus stuff.
But yeah, like, why not? That 30-minute commute, or whatever it was that folks were driving to work, or the time. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how we spend our time. And I also don't want this to sound like, a judgment of like, you have all this time, what are you doing? But at the same time, like giving people a little push. Like I'm thinking to myself, what could I do? I'm a goal set. I'm an achiever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking all my personality tests. I like to get to that next level. So I'm like, ooh, what could I do in 8 weeks?
Right.
If I really set my, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, but writing's a big one.
Yeah.
Making videos. We're going to be filming probably, we already have about 200 YouTube videos. We're just going to keep that library growing.
And those are good videos too. I'm going to put a link to your YouTube channel. Thanks for reminding me. They're fantastic. Both you and Dan are very well educated, and you're great instructors and coaches. So that's a resource I'd like to share with the listeners for sure.
You too, man.
I appreciate it.
I don't think you talk about your programs enough. So I'm going to, as a guest on your podcast, you guys don't know, do you have links to your mountain fitness training program? I mean,
you know what? I haven't done that. I always enjoy interviewing people, and you're like the only person, not the only person, probably the most person to ask me questions about my stuff. And I appreciate it. You know what? Yesterday I was thinking the mountain fitness school, which is now patented, which is, I don't know why I even patented it. Everything you write is copyrighted, but what the hell? I was like, I'll hire a lawyer, and now it's patented. But, I put a lot of effort into filming that, and I want to film more of those kind of things. And it's cool because you can download it, right? Because YouTube, I don't know if you can download videos yet or not. Maybe you can with a paid program. But
I downloaded something the other day. I don't know if it was necessarily it was easy to do. Doesn't mean it was legal.
There. It's great.
I looked up, it was like how to download a YouTube video. And I just went through a series of clicks. And next thing you know, I downloaded some YouTube videos.
I'm gonna look into that. That's really
maybe
interesting.
I'll share it offline.
Yeah, we'll share that together. Well, so I lowered the price 90% off. I was like, because I gave it away for free over Christmas and Hanukkah, and I was like, I wanted to give a gift of health for people.
Yeah.
And you know what I found out, and this probably is in that book of psychology of influence. If you give people something for free, oftentimes they don't value it.
Nope.
And I noticed this. I had like 10 people sign up like that day when I gave it away for free as a gift for the holidays. Not one person got past the second video out of 50 videos and chapters.
Wow.
I was like, wow, but everybody that paid for it went through the whole course. And I was like, because they have skin in the game, you know?
When you pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I want to give it as the lowest price as possible. So I took it from $279, which it usually is at, to $27.90, I guess, 90% off. So I'll put a link in the show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is like when we first started Axistence, we started with a punch card. And we'd say, hey, come in and try 5. This is 7 years ago, right? And we had this little punch card. Hey-o.
Hey, my dogs are awake. 1 second. Hey, Riley, you're okay. Whoa. They're very attentive to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Our condo, as you probably saw, is in front of all the mailboxes. So there's 100 mailboxes plus right there. So anybody getting the mail, my dogs let me know, like, hey, there's that person getting that mail. We don't trust him. Like,
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Why is he getting stuff? Yeah, a lot more people are home, so getting a lot more mail.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, the punch card.
Yeah, the punch card.
Yeah, just kind of people paying, and just kind of a funny story. So we started with this punch card. It was 5 punches, and we'd say, hey, just come on in, jump into any class. Well, one, we realized that's not a great thing to do, especially when you're doing more technical movements. Like we learned very quickly. But somebody would come in, even like an experienced exerciser, if you will, a former CrossFitter, or something like that, someone who had worked with a personal trainer. But we'd give them this, and we'd say, oh, come into 5 classes. And most people would use 1 class, like if they got it for free. We'd say, hey, come try out 5 classes. And they would use it. And some people, no one actually finished a punch card. I don't think we had, I mean, I might be misremembering this, but if we did, like, we could definitely count them on less than one hand.
Exactly. That makes complete sense. And it doesn't make sense, but it validates what we're saying. Yeah.
And even so after that, we went from, 5 punches to, you can't just come try out a class. Like, now we can give you a punch card, but it was actually, if you buy a t-shirt, you get a punch card with it. And so now there's a little bit of skin in the game, but it was like $20. Typically our drop-in rates right now are $20, or they were before the virus.
Yeah.
So drop-in rates, $20. I'm going to talk like it's present tense still. Talk like it's last week. So we would say, hey, buy a t-shirt, you get 5 punches. And so people had a little bit more skin in the game. And after that, we were just like, nope. You want to come check out a class? Like, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Where you're at. Where's your head at? Mm-hmm. And the number of memberships and the number of people who really wanted what we had to offer became exponential. But it was at, delivering value and charging, something.
Exactly. No, then that's a very good point for any kind of fitness professional or any kind of independent contractor, professional, artist, creative, a writer, musician. I know we all come into what we want to do from an honest place. We want to give it away. But if you do, like we're saying, it doesn't go the way you hoped.
Right.
So, and get paid for your effort.
Yes. I mean, I know, like, you and I both, if I was independently wealthy, like, I'd still be training people.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I love it.
Classes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Me too. And ironically, just before this whole virus and social distancing, I have never been busier with my fitness. When I loved it, like the group classes at the law firm were at capacity, if not over capacity, which is awesome. And I was picking up just my ideal people, like, how you write your avatar, who your ideal people are. And I'm training people for the Friends of Birth and Past, Backcountry Ski Group, a nonprofit. I'm training like C-level, people at the firm, and and a data scientist who's fascinating. And like, we're doing cool stuff and they're seeing great results, and deadlifts are going for PRs, all these fantastic things. And ladies in their 60s and 70s are like, I can sit down and stand up and my knees feel better and not arthritic anymore. Like lots of success stories, a lot of like reward from me. And I'm going to miss that in person, like that epiphany, the tear jerking epiphany, the person like, I haven't been able to do this for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
and we'll see that.
Well, we will. We'll appreciate even more when it happens in person again.
Yes. But seeing that in person, I mean, it's difficult to get that same, there's an energy that's not shared online. I mean, you got a lot of energy. I got a lot of energy. But still, you know, here we are far away. Like it's cool. And I can see it and I can feel it, but there is something to, I mean, we are biological organisms. We are creating electrical impulses, right? I don't know if you've read any of Joe Dispenza's stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was listening to an audiobook about Supernatural. Yep.
Yeah. That, I don't know, we might've talked about this before, but, you know, you can say it's woo-woo. I don't mind. You can say whatever. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things. But you can physically measure, right? Like if there are meters that will measure electricity or impulses or really life, right? I can see if there's something that's vibrating on a certain energy level next to me. If I have my eyes closed, like we have odometers, we have meters, right? I'm not using the right terminology, but I think of it like a Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah. Spectre vision.
Right. Like this, I think of it like the Predator, right? We have night vision goggles. We have heat sensors. Like if you were to shut the lights off in a room with 3 people, like, you know, there's 3 people in the room. You can't see them, but like we can test that.
Yeah, so there's a sense for it.
That's my build up to like, so they've been testing. Joe Dispenza's been testing a lot of this stuff as far as energy levels and what kind of state is someone in. If I'm in a state of happiness, of gratitude, of love, my energy level can be detected almost 9 feet out. When I'm in a state of fear, when I'm in a state of scarcity, when I'm in a state of sadness and hate, my energy level gets closer and closer and closer. And that the guy on the Tim Ferriss was kind of talking about this. He alluded to it a little bit, and that was the way these physicists describe it is you're becoming more matter and less wave, or more mass and less wave, I think. So if I'm putting something out there, I mean, everybody's met, you know, the negativity, you know, or somebody's just like, man, that person is a drain.
Yeah. Debbie Downer.
Yeah. The Debbie Downer, right? Like, when you meet somebody like that, I think it's more than just someone being negative. Like if I'm in the store and there's a bunch of people just, if everybody in there is panicking, like you can feel that. I feel like, I don't know if there's been any tests, but I feel like if I have my eyes closed, and I'm not super intuitive, but if I'm, you know, standing in a group of people, 50 people that all are scared for their lives, like I'm probably going to pick up on that a little bit, like as human nature. You know, I don't think that's anything supernatural. I don't think that's anything woo. I think, you know, we have just as many senses, you know, or similar senses to dogs, monkeys, cats, right? If a dog can sense an earthquake, like it's highly likely that humans can pick up on another human who's happy or sad, right?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, that's my message, Sean. Spread love in this like come from a place of love, listen to classical music on the way to the store. Don't go in there, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole, be kind.
Fine. Yeah.
It's not rocket surgery, people. But and it's true, like I've definitely found in the fitness industry, or when I was creating music as a DJ, or just talking to people in a party setting or whatever, if you are kind and you're genuinely smiling, the people know, and then they're attracted to it, and there's that rule of attraction, right? And it wasn't always that case for myself personally. I did associate with people who were very negative, and I was very depressed, and I associate, like, and back to a very earlier part of this discussion, the environment I was in, I allowed myself to be in, was very negative, and it was very not conducive to growth. And so over the years, you know, making tough decisions to take those weeds, I don't want to say people are weeds, but take the weeds out of the garden and let other things flourish. It's gone very well. And so hopefully people, if anybody's listening to this and they're in a situation that they don't feel like they can get out of, and it's too negative, you can get out of it. Trust me, you really can. And then there's a lot of light and brightness and love, and it's all out there.
It's all out there.
It's out there. Ryan's putting it out there. Dan's putting it out there. I mean, I enjoy doing it. And I know you guys do too, because when you see it, you know it's true, it's authentic. So it's good stuff. Well, my goodness, we've been chatting for an hour, man. Isn't that crazy? It's flying by. Man. I know. Well, you're easy to talk to. So, well, is there anything you want to cover in the next few minutes?
Let's see, I think, you probably have a lot of fitness professionals out there, that are listening to this, or maybe even people who are members, of a gym or backcountry. I think one of the big messages that I've been trying to throw out there is we have no idea what's going to happen in the future, right? The future doesn't exist. It's only a possibility, but we are creating that possibility right now. If you're going to, go get some coffee, this is not a hate on Starbucks, right? But there's a lot of tiny cafes that might not make it through this. There's a lot of mom and pop restaurants that probably won't make it through this. There's a lot of gyms that may not make it through. There's a lot of businesses that may not make it through. So in this time of like, okay, maybe I'm not going out, maybe I'm not spending as much money shopping or something like that. Now, online shopping, who knows? I don't know if people are doing more online shopping, but this could be a great opportunity for you to really support local businesses, right? Like if you're looking for beer, breweries are shut down, but you can go get growlers. Like you could go down to the local, you could go down to Comrade Brewery, get yourself a growler, a superpower IPA, that stuff still exists. You could buy gift cards to, local mom and pop shops. So I think
that's a great idea. I think if a person is just listening to us, that's a huge takeaway. Create a gift card, sell it for services in the future. And that can help the small businesses transition.
Yeah. We run a service-based business. It's a monthly membership, and we see a lot of people kind of freaking out. Like, what do we do? When we're probably going to have a lot of people are going to have to talk to their landlord about, hey, am I going to have to get an extension? Or like what happens, if people start canceling their memberships and things like that. So one of the things that we're trying to do is keep that community together and be able to deliver, what we were delivering before in some sort of online format. Maybe that's, virtual coaching calls. Maybe that's online classes. And I think it's going to look different for every training center. I've seen some people that are doing just online programs. I've seen some people that are just doing live classes. I've seen other people that have gone to one-on-one coaching sessions. But I think in many different service industries, I've got friends that are bartenders that they're being hit real hard.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of businesses that you can't take online. I guess you could moonshine,
I would buy it.
Right? If anybody's selling moonshine out there, hit me up. Send me a message. I'll buy local shine.
I want to go blind.
Make sure it's quality product. But I think just I always love for people to get curious, and I think like you said, when you could have gotten to that King Supers and started to panic, but you got curious as to like, this is interesting. Just like if that's a thing right now, like yes, people are causing lines. Like there's lines on Black Friday too. On Black Friday, people die in the stores. I'm pretty sure no one has died yet over toilet paper.
No.
And there's no shortage of toilet paper. There's no shortage of food. There's no shortage of anything. People are, I think, sometimes, and this is that question I think we have to ask ourselves am I going to the store in a state of panic, or am I going to the store in a state of preparedness? Because I'm going to pick up the same things. I just might be acting a completely different way. And I might make some poor decisions if I'm acting out of a state of panic or fear.
Yep.
Right. So before you go into the store, take 10 deep breaths. Know that these are just normal humans that are also a little bit frightened right now of what's going to happen. They're not quote unquote crazy. They're not panickers. And the media is letting us know what's going on. And also sometimes they're assholes.
They can be, for sure. I mean, and that's a good point. Like, I try to assume that everybody in there is a good person, probably has a family. They're going to get a frozen pizza and milk and whatever, for them and for their living partners. And just shoot them a smile. And then especially the cashiers, the people providing the service, those poor people, just ask them how they're doing. Tell them a pirate joke, something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need more pirate jokes.
That's the big one. If you, go into the stores, like just smile at the cashier, use their name.
Yep. Yeah. They're a person.
Don't pay with change out of your pocket. Don't make them anymore. Don't pull that change out from underneath the couch. Like, it's like, oh, do I pay with money? Because then I have to like give them actual cash, or if I use the debit card, then I have to put my fingers on the machine. Like, don't overthink it. If you touch something, wash your hands.
Yep.
I'm not an infectious disease specialist. I just have a pretty good idea that, hand washing is a good idea.
Yeah, it has been for a long time, and I think it still will be.
Yeah. Socially distance yourself physically. Maybe I would say physically distance yourself, but socially maybe try to connect more.
I agree. And the very first part of this conversation, you brought up a very good point about the FaceTime. And we're really involved in my in-laws' life in a good way. And so it's been doubled now. Like, what are you doing right now? Oh, I'm working from home, and I'll stop in and say hi to the mother-in-law or the nieces. And it's really easy to do. And a lot of people are going to be inside. And like even this podcast, I like doing a video for a lot of reasons, but it really helps socialize too. Yeah. And then these are resources that everybody has. If you have a phone, you can FaceTime or whatever the equivalent is on a Google phone. It's the technology's there. Yeah.
I heard something really good the other day for introverts. It was like, introverts are just loving this right now because they're not changing they haven't really changed their routine. It's like something that all introverts can do is reach out to your extroverted friends and just check on them. They might not be doing so good.
Yeah. Here's some tips from an introvert. Game of Thrones, binge it.
Yeah. Find that book, find something to write about, study a language. Like, there's a lot of opportunity. How many burpees can you do? I've made a challenge to do. I'll do at least 19 burpees a day, for the next 30. And then, again, we'll be doing our online workouts. Get a kettlebell, download the Mountain Fitness Training Program.
Yes, exactly. Get a kettlebell, do that program. You'll see Ryan, you'll see Garrett, you'll see me, all doing different levels. It works really freaking good. It's on sale. There's a coupon. It is Stay Fit.
Right?
Yeah.
This is Colorado for you. So one of our members went to Rep Fitness yesterday, which if you guys don't know, Rep Fitness, it's a fitness equipment company. You can buy pull-up rigs, you can buy kettlebells, barbells, pretty much anything you want. And he sends a picture of the line, and it looked like the line at Costco.
Oh, that is so encouraging. I am so glad to hear that.
It was like, this is awesome.
It is. My whole home gym is Rep Fitness stuff, and it's great because they're local. And it's cool to see them grow. The first kettlebell I bought from them was rusted 24-kilogram kettlebell because I was just going to do my first SFG, and it was holding up their front door, and they had one desk, and it's just like a garage, and like iron and a tire and a hammer, and then they doubled their space, and they doubled again, and now they're like it's like
they have a
place.
They have a very cool showroom. We just upgraded. We actually sold all of our previous kettlebells. We had a bunch of mix and match kettlebells we had gotten from Craigslist over the years and everywhere. And we just upgraded to all Rep Fitness kettlebells, and they're awesome.
Yeah, they're the best.
Hello, Tushy. Rep Fitness.
Scribble. What's the audiobook you used? The program you turned me on to?
Oh, Scribed.
Scribed, yeah. That's legit.
Scribe, man. Yeah, I mean, Scribe is $10 a month, and it's unlimited audiobooks.
Yeah, as opposed to Audible, it's 15, you get one.
Yeah.
So do the math.
There are a few on Audible that you can't get on Scribe, though.
That is true. Yeah, I have both, but I like to read or like to listen to books, at least. Well, Ryan, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Much love to you. I always enjoy seeing you and talking with you. And let's do this again a little more sooner than 7 months apart. Let's do it in a few weeks.
Yes.
Touch in and see how you're doing and what's new.
Maybe I'll actually get a podcast up and running in the next 30 days. How about that?
That's a challenge for me to you. Do that.
All right.
And I'll help you any way possible. I have enough nerding out experience of this now.
I got the microphone. Now I just have to take some action.
Yeah, dude. Just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it.
Yeah. Until then, physically keep your distance from each other, folks. Don't kill any people. just because you're mad or, actually with a virus. I don't know. I feel like people still necessarily aren't taking this seriously.
Some people. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all we can do.
Yep. Own it.
From a place of love.
Come from a place of love. Speaking of that, thank you all for listening, and love to you and yours.